Now, when you're just getting started, or you got a new machine on your computer, or you're changing operating systems for whatever reason, you probably want to set up your development environment. And that's usually a pain. So I'm going to share with you today how I set up my Windows environment. I run both Ubuntu and Windows as dual boot, and I didn't use Windows much before. However, for several different tools and because of a few reasons, I'm changing back to Windows as my main operating system of choice, particularly for work. So I'm going to share with you now how I set everything up. Let's go. Welcome everybody to my channel. For those who are new here, my name is Anais, and this is the channel where I share my entire learning journey. So if you're interested in DevOps, subscribe. I also have a free DevOps weekly newsletter where I share learning resources that you can just get right into your inbox. So subscribe, link below. Now, before we get started with the content, I want to give a big shout out to all of you who make this possible and who motivate me each week and each day to keep going on this challenge. Your support means a lot to me, and it became really visible throughout the past days how much impact your support has on my work. So thank you so much for that. Now let's get started. Let's just take a moment to admire this amazing spacey background. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so for those who are already familiar with my videos know that I also keep everything in written content on my public Notion page, linked below. So check that out if you're interested in the written content instead. Here's just basically for today the notes on the different documentation that I used to set up my environment on Windows. So if you're new to Windows and you want to set up your environment, check those out, have a look. Might be useful for you. So I'm basically using Windows subsystem for Linux. So I have like a Linux terminal and everything works like on Linux. Since I'm not familiar with Windows at all, that's a great option for me. And yeah, now the next thing that I had to basically figure out was what kind of local cluster do I run? As you know already, I love to create resources and just use them and destroy them over time and just try out different things. And that's not necessarily the best idea to do all of that directly on a cloud cluster. So I need a nice local cluster that I can use for that. Now the first option is if you install Docker Desktop, the application that is also linked, I think, here. You will get Kubernetes Vivid. So you can just enable that within your Docker desktop application. You can go to settings and then Kubernetes, and here within that you can enable it and you have access straight away to it. So if I then head over to my shell and I can just take my Ubuntu console, since that's installed through my setup. I can just go ahead and do kubectl config get context, and as you can see, I have here Docker for desktop running. I have a kind multi-node cluster and then a kind cluster that I just set up to experiment with their ingress configuration. Anyway, and then I have my Google Cloud Cluster. So as you can see, I have all of them listed here. So you can use that. You can also go ahead and use Minikube. This is just basically an overview. You will get with Minikube, microcates, kind, and so on. You will get also the Kubernetes dashboard, so you can use that as well. Now you can use kind. What is kind? Well, kind of instead of, so you have to think about that. Minikube uses, those are the main difference. Minikube uses VMs to run basically a cluster inside a VM. Kind uses Docker containers to run your cluster. So I think, yeah, so every node is basically a Docker container that runs, which makes it, I guess, easier and more lightweight. Now, kind, also something to note, it's probably the nicest documentation and setup, especially if you're already familiar with YAML. You will have a blast using kind. You can also use microcates, well, particularly if you're in the Ubuntu Linux environment, any Linux distro, you might want to use microcates. Microcates is really easy to set up on those environments, and it's probably from what I've read, it's the smallest of those tools. So you might even want to use it on a Raspberry Pi or similar. Anywhere where I don't actually know the requirements for your Raspberry Pi clusters. I'm going to set up soon my Raspberry Pi cluster, so if you have any recommendations, link those below, please. I would highly appreciate it. Anyway, so here's basically a brief comparison. In Kind, you have your hardware, and then within your Docker, you run basically on top the different Docker containers. On Minikube, you have basically a virtualization, some hypervisor that provides VM to Minikube, and then it runs a Linux node in Minikube VM, in the VM that Minikube set up. And then you have microkits, and microkits, depending on if you're Ubuntu or Mac or Windows, it will behave differently. And now here I'm just adding some specific commands that you can use to customize shortcuts and so on, which is also really exciting. Since you don't want to be always typing, like just right now, kubectl config current context, right? You don't want to be always typing that out. Anyway, so check out my notes and maybe subscribe to my weekly newsletter. So let's have a look at Kind in more detail. So Kind lets you really easily create a cluster. So if I have Kind installed, as you can see, I have here my different options to use Kind. I can just say Kind create cluster and then specify the name of the cluster, test demo, for example, and then we'll go ahead and create my cluster. It's as easy and straightforward as that. Now this is a single node cluster, as I will show you in a second once it finished setting up. And once this is set up, we can use kubectl get nodes, and we have here our test demo control plane, which is our main master node that also encompasses worker nodes that might run any of your pods. So we can set up our pods and other processes and containers and whatever we want to run on our cluster right here. Now, I mentioned that the real power, or like the real interest that I have in Kind is kind of setting up a multi-node cluster, which is interesting. So let's do that. Now, Kind delete cluster name test demo. Okay, now it's deleting my cluster because you don't want to have random clusters lying around on your computer. It's gonna take space and it's gonna be nasty. Okay, so here is a basic, I just pasted a basic definition of my Kind cluster, and it specifies 3 different nodes, the main node and 2 worker nodes. So let's go ahead and create that. So we're going to use the config that we just specified, and I want to name this something shorter. Again, maybe test demo, so I don't forget the name, right? Otherwise, I might not remember what cluster I created. Anyway, now it's installing, creating that cluster. I'm just wondering for what I would necessarily use several nodes in that case. If they are all running on my machine, it might not be too useful to have several nodes. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on what you would use that for, or if you're more familiar with Kind, maybe you know. So that might be cool. Otherwise, I will probably be using mainly Kubernetes and Docker if I don't find any reason not to use it. But Kind seems like a fun tool to play around with and to use instead. So it just created that cluster. As you can see, it went through the entire process. And here, I love those little emojis. They make my day. So thank you, Kind. They're really nice. So now we can go ahead and say kubectl get nodes. And you again have to spell kubectl. Today's not my kubectl day, huh? You have to spell it correctly. And you get your different nodes set up. So that's also really nice. You can similarly, let's head over to the Kind cluster documentation maybe. So within the cluster you have specific documentation for Windows Subsystem Linux, which was really handy setting everything up. And then you have specific documentation that's really easy to follow, probably the easiest that I've found so far in terms of local clusters, and setting up a load balancer for your cluster and setting up ingress. So it's just about to do that. So let's do that, and then I'm going to let you know how it was and maybe something to look out for, or show you how it works in the end. Okay, so I just finished going through the documentation here, which just basically walks you through all the different steps that you have to take to set up an ingress for your kind cluster. I'm not 100% sure of everything that actually happened. Also, the last command didn't quite want to run, so I'm not sure what I did wrong there, which is really strange. Maybe I don't understand something that's going on here. Anyway, if you now say test that ingress through curl, and this should return bar, and then if you test for foo, it should return foo, and it does that. So apparently my ingress is working through some magic. Now this is it for today. I will be exploring throughout this week, each day, a new tool, and just provide the outline of what are the benefits of it, how do you use it, why would you use it, and so on. So stay tuned for those, and you might want to subscribe to this channel to be notified. Anyway, I hope to see you next time. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.